This is BYU Math 112. In this video we will discuss textbook section 2.6 and exercise like number 24. We are going to do the limit as x approaches negative infinity of x to the fifth plus x minus 1 quantity all over the square root of the quantity x to the 10th plus 1. The trick we use that when evaluating a limit of this kind, we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the highest power of x. So in this case we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 1 over x to the fifth, 1 over x to the fifth. So on the top, that's very simple. We need to keep our limit sign. So we have the limit x approaches negative infinity, 1 plus 1 over x to the fourth minus 1 over x to the fifth. Now on the bottom, we have to note that 1 over x to the fifth is equal to 1 over the square root of x to the 10th. Now if you want some further explanation on this, you can go to example 4 on page 134. But in this case, when x is negative, and we look at the square root of x to the 10th, that's equal to the absolute value of x to the fifth. And since x is negative, that's equal to negative x to the fifth. And so what that tells us is that when we multiply by this 1 over x to the fifth on the bottom, this 1 over the square root of x to the 10th, we're going to have to put a negative sign on the front. And so dividing by x to the 10th inside, we're going to get a 1 plus 1 over x to the 10th. So that negative sign is key in this part, because when we evaluate this limit, we can, by the laws of limits, we can take the limit of each part on the top and the limit of each part on the bottom, and we're going to get that this one goes to 0, and this one goes to 0, and this one goes to 0. And so our answer is going to be 1 over the negative square root of 1, which you know is equal to negative 1. So you have to be careful when you're doing the limits as x is going to negative infinity when you have these square roots. You have to remember this part right here. You have to make sure to introduce that negative sign, otherwise your answer is going to have the wrong sign. You might end up losing a point. And that's how we do limits going towards negative infinity.